Greetings to all and welcome to the Shenanigans Derby Classic number 39. That's right, we are moving up on these things. We're getting on, we're what, 2/3 of a year now for the Shenanigans Derby Classic over the last 3 years. It's been a jarred story for sure. Nonetheless, we continue on, and I feel like it gets better and better every time we bring it back. So glad to be here doing it again. Let's see what we got. We got Peridot, Cyberhunter, Elytra, Huska, Katie Nadal, Foreman, TZV, Diablo, Beck, Elsa the First, Jacliffe Gaming, Blade Knight, Birchcheck, and Fresh Brew Tea, winner of last week's Derby. Here to do it all over again. 15 seconds ticking down. Don't forget. Damage is on. That's how the Derby goes. No rules other than finish the race, which even then we sometimes have trouble doing. Doesn't matter. The race is ready to go. 12 marbles ready to give it their all here. On the paperclip, round 1 of 12 for the qualifiers. All the marbles fighting for my inability to figure out how to control the game. There we go. Thank God that still works. Season launch. Fun times. Elsa the First gets through the first bend in the lead with Blade Knight and Fresh Brew Tea not too far behind. Fresh Brew Tea, coming off the victory of last week, feeling fully spirited and ready to take on the world, is leading the charge on the inside line. Diablo Beck is a little bit further back. I don't know why I said Diablo Beck, but we went with it. And the rest of the marbles continuing to push through the second turn of the first lap. Damage being dealt as the marbles swing through the turn. Foreman takes out TZV, who still can't catch a break after being completely decimated last week. Elsa the First to the inside line, tries to regain first place, but Foreman right now with a blistering fire trail is really cruising down the track. Fresh Brew Tea exerting themselves, showing why they were number 1 last week by running over the competition and bursting themselves into first place as they go through the first turn of the second lap. Foreman to the outside, trying to regain some speed from that fiery trail. Elsa the First taking it easy, calculating their moves as Blade Knight and Diablo Beck squish Droska into oblivion, and the marbles continue down the straightaway on the backstretch. It's Fresh Brew Tea increasing their lead. The electric car really boosting it out. Fresh Brew Tea's doing it again, ladies and gentlemen. The tiny toy car powered by his arsenal of batteries. Really something unsurmountable here for the competition. Elsa the First to the outside, gonna try to make a move at the last second, but Fresh Brew Tea plugs in a new battery, throws the other battery back at Elsa the First, who has to dodge by going to the inside line, and Fresh Brew Tea once again taking it for the top. Elsa the First in second, Diablo Beck in third. It's gonna be another firecracker of a week, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get into the second qualifier of the night. Ladies and gentlemen, here we are on the Boomerang. Our second race of the night. We got Blade Knight, Birkjack, Diablo Beck, Tamarys, Forbid, Katie Doll, Peridot, Fresh Brew Tea, Droska, Jacliffe, Gaby, Elsa the First, Cyberhunter Elite, and TCCV. I hope I didn't miss anyone. We kind of forgot to do the intro, but we caught it just in time. And now the marbles are going into the Boomerang. We're going to go around the first soft bend as the marbles continue to push through in this course. It is looking pretty good for all the marbles involved right now. Getting it all, though, up in front. The Meteor Spirit live and well with them, but Cyberhunter Elite also getting a pretty good swing from the outside to the inside as they go up into the first major turn. And Fresh Brew Tea is going to cut in for third place. Here comes Peridot, Tamarys, Foreman, and TZZV, all trying to make their way into, I think I always say 3 Z's even though it's 2, but it doesn't matter. It flows off the tongue better, and that's how we're going to say it. Cyberhunter Elite is still in the lead as they go through the second straightaway, and it looking pretty good for them as they go through the second minor turn. A lot of damage to be dealt here, a lot of changing of places. Marbles looking pretty good, though, as they all collide into the outside, while Jacliffe Gaby gains a good amount of ground, but Cyberhunter Elite putting the pedal to the metal. Oh my, look at the speed of Cyberhunter Elite. A straight shot boosted, almost jumps over the top of the bridge, and they're going to go well into first place by over 100 marble legs as they approach the second lap. It's Blade Knight, Tamarys, Foreman, Fresh Brew Tea, and Peridot all tied for second place in the last straightaway of the first lap, trying to find a way, and Fresh Brew Tea plugging in a fresh battery, gonna show Cyberhunter Elite the real meaning. Look at the speed coming out of Fresh Brew Tea. The plasticine fiber optic construction of Fresh Brew Tea's vehicle, making it as lightweight as possible. I heard they were actually taking some research from record hunters to develop a large stockpile of graphene to try to advance their car building strategies as far as they could possibly go, and it seems to be working right now as Fresh Brew Tea's lightweight, high-powered electric vehicle is untouchable on the Derby scene the last 2 weeks. Cyberhunter Elite still holding in second, though, and they are in the qualifying position. Blade Knight, Tamarys, and Jacliffe Gaming trying to hold that third place position with Foreman and TCV in the back just for moral support at this point. Fresh Brew Tea, though, giving some damage to Cyberhunter Elite to try to keep them back in second place, but Cyberhunter Elite doesn't want to take it sitting down. Blade Knight in third, moving ahead of the pack with Peridot and Tamariz going through. It's looking pretty strong right now, but Fresh Brute Tea still continuing to dominate the seed. Cyber Hunter lead to the outside, pushing as hard as they can on the final straightaway, but Fresh Brute Tea plugs in another battery. I don't know where they hide all these batteries, but boy, do they have it worked out. And once again, Fresh Brute Tea takes it. Cyber Hunter lead in the qualifying position to second place. Blade Knight in third, and the rest of the marble is going to continue off. We're going to have to look a little bit closer at the marble that Fresh Brute Tea is rolling here, because this is absolutely unfair. I don't know what's going to happen, but the judges are going to have to work on it, and we'll get back to you in the third round. Ladies and gentlemen, our third qualifier of the night, the Delta. We got TZV, Peridot, Troska, Foreman, Fresh Brute Tea, Katie Doll, Blade Knight, Cyber Hunter Elite, Terry's Else the First, Burt Jack, Killer App, Dabba Beck, and J-Cliff Gaming, ready to give it their all. On the course, and the marbles are across the line with the initial scramble ready to go into the race. TZV in the lead, in the front position. Looks like Cyber Hunter Elite and Burt Jack going to be in the back, trying to get through as best they can. Here comes Killer App around the initial bend, trying to keep everything under control, and it's looking good on the 3-turn track. TZV, though, who has been denied glory for the last week and a half, is now ready to make their move as they go through onto the straightaway of this first lap. It's Burt Jack in second. Killer App in third. Good to see some fresh names up in front here as the marbles go through the second turn. It's a nice clean line for TCV. Going to keep that lead for now. But Foreman with another boost of fiery death, launching themselves up into the front of the pack. Oh, but hits Burt Jack from behind. Burt Jack converting the inertia forward and takes a really good jump through the third turn of the first lap. Tamariz is going to have an answer for it as well. It's TCV barely holding on to first, but Killer App makes a move in second with that purple force field spinning around the marble. Tamariz in third and Burt Jack in fourth with Katie et al. Barely holding on to fifth place right now as the marbles are really taking off with a lot of speed through this first turn of the second lap. All the marbles through the turn now as Killer App tries to hold that first place position. Another 30 marble lengths lead as they continue into this first straightaway. Tamariz in second with that square trail just leaving off a huge trail of dust to blind the marbles behind them. TZV seems to be faltering back to fourth place now. Katie et al. Up into third, but Burt Jack comes up from behind with Troska trying to make a move as they go through into the final turn. It's Killer App still in first, but TZV seems to have put it all together. They're on the inside line. They're taking on Tamariz. They're taking on Killer App. Damage being dealt. TZV needs one more boost to get themselves through. It's the final straightaway, the final lap. Can Killer App, TZV, or Tamariz make it? Killer App's got a good line on the inside. Looks like they're keeping it all together, and they do. TZV, tiniest boost, too little to get through to the final. And it's going to be Killer App taking it on the third race. TZV in second, Tamariz in third, and the rest of the marbles crossing the line to finish out the race. Let's get into the fourth qualifier. Ladies and gentlemen, our fourth qualifier of the evening. It's MSLA Raceway. TZV, Chicken Roo, Cyber Kraken, Katie et al., Peridot, Diablo Beck, Killer App, Burt Jack, Elsa the First, Foreman, Fresh Brute Tea, Tamariz, Ruska, J-Cliff Gaming, and Blade Knight. They are the marbles ready to give it their all here on the qualifier. Let's see who is taking the victory to qualify for the final race. On this one, it's Katie et al. With the initial lead, once again using the spirit of the meter to propel their marble forward, but this track has a lot of twists and turns in it. Fresh Brute Tea and Foreman coming through that first line with a pretty good inside line, but they go hard to the bank, and that's going to slow them down on the dismount. Diablo Beck and Katie et al. Battling for first place as they continue through on this initial square bend. Chicken Roo with a good boost of speed takes it up into third, but immediately falls back into sixth place. Elsa the First and Burt Jack trying to make something happen as they go through the second of the square turns. But here comes Katie et al. With another good boost of speed on the dismount from the second turn into the third, coming around with a lot of speed. They're going to get some air as they go across the set, and it looks like it's pretty good for Katie et al. Right now as they look to line it up into the final turn of the square. It's Burt Jack in second, Diablo Beck challenging in third. The marbles coming through. It looks like Diablo Beck's got a very good line. Overtakes Burt Jack. Can they get the dismount? They need to maintain speed. No, Burt Jack's got the dismount boost into first place, and Burt Jack's going to be the one advancing up into first place as they go through the long bend. Lots of marbles cruising through with a lot of speed, coming down as hard as they can on that outside edge. Lots of damage being dealt, but Burt Jack is rocketing ahead with a tremendous lead in this first lap. It's over 100 marble lengths now as they go through into the hairpin turn. It looks like they could do it all, but they need to make sure they don't burn themselves out. They still got a whole nother lap to go. Katie et al. And Foreman trying to find their way into second. Chicken Roo, J-Cliff Gaming, Killer App, and Fresh Brute Tea all coming up from behind. Fresh Brute Tea once again throwing out those batteries, plugging in the fresh ones. It's an unusual strategy, but it does make their vehicle lighter throughout the race, and it does guarantee them constant fresh top speed, and it really seems to be doing the trick for them in this competition. Burt Jack still holds on to first, but the lead is narrowed to about 60 marble lengths. Foreman in second, just holding on by a thread, and Fresh Brute Tea cutting in strong in third place, now looking for second. But what's this? It's Chicken Roo out from back from nowhere. Look at the geometry fire trail rocketing out of the back of the marble, propelling their marble forward as quickly as possible. Some very strange, unconventional gravitic manipulations happening here with the dimensional trail of Chicken Roo has propelled them into second place, and they've closed the gap on Bertjack by only less than 5 marble lengths now. Coming up into the second square turn, Chicken Roo trying to find a way to make it happen. Bertjack starting to falter out with that gooey trail starting to slow them down as they go through this third turn, but that's a beautiful line through the third turn. Did you see them hug that inside rail? Really cruising up and now getting their lead back up to about 40 marble lengths ahead of Chicken Roo, who falls back into third. Foreman in second. The fireball just burning as hard as it possibly can, but they're nothing but an ashy cinder at this point. Barely any health to hold on to the rest of the race, and they do need to be careful. One bump and they're out. Killer App and Fresh Boot Tea, 2 qualifiers already, just challenging in for the fun right now as they join the top of the pack, but Bertjack really going ahead with these beautiful lines and top speed. Bertjack going through. My God, the distance is staggering. Katie Doll taking Peridot out of the competition. Not that it matters at this point. The rest of the marbles not even within frame as Bertjack is rocketing down through this hairpin turn, and Bertjack really seems to have put it all together. Amazing lines and amazing speed. A perfect execution on the second lap. They're over 150 marble lengths ahead of the competition. No one has an answer for the speed and line of Bertjack as they continue to just rocket themselves down on this course, and it's gonna be Bertjack all the way, ladies and gentlemen. Magic be damned, they've taken it all, and Bertjack is going to be our 4th qualifying marble of the competition. Jacliff Gaming holding on to second, Fresh Boutique in third, Chicken Roo in fourth, Kraken in fifth, and the rest of the marbles barely able to keep up. Troska is not even going to finish. There's a 5-minute wall of death, and that might not even be enough time. But that's going to do it for the 4th qualifier. As we wait for Troska to cross the line, let's get into the 5th race of the competition. Greetings all, welcome to the 5th qualifying race of the evening. We got Blade Knight, Elsa the First, Foreman, Diablobeck, Gentleman Gamer, Cyberrunner, Elite, Katie Doll, Tambourines, Fresh Tea, Cybernetic Kraken, Bertjack, Killer App, Peridot, Troska, Jacliff Gaming, and TZZV. Let's get this race underway. There's always the initial stagger of those marbles in the beginning, so Killer App and Peridot gonna get that initial lead, but right away Peridot seems to fall back into the middle of the pack, and Killer App with the jump start will be the one leading the charge. Here comes Droska, Fresh Fruit Tea, Peridot, and Katie Doll, all tied for second place, and ooh, Elsa the First just ignited Cyberrunner Elite. Looks like they put a lighter under their fuel import and just blew up their entire gas tank all at once. Some dirty play there from the mods, but I wouldn't expect anything less from them. Here comes Killer App now around the bend in first place. So it looks like Droska takes out the Gentleman Gamer. Some very dastardly performances here. The mods taking out all the newcomers, almost unsportsmanlike you could say, but that is the nature of the mods here on this channel. Killer App ready to go in first place as they boost through into this straightaway. Tamrays hold second. Looks like it's going to be Fresh Brewed Tea taking out TCV. TCV takes out Diablobeck, and now the newcomers are starting to get one up on the mods. Droska barely alive though as they try to continue on in this race. It's Tamrays and Fresh Brewed Tea. Foreman, no one has any health left except for Killer App, who wisely has decided to stay at the front of the track and get themselves as far as possible away from the carnage. Coming up into the sharp corner, it's going to be Killer App. Still in first, but their lead decreases to about 30 marble legs. Tamrays comes around in second, trying to find a good line on the bend. Oh, narrowly dodging the collision from Troska. Tamrays needs to watch out. Troska's got that green car freshly painted going for him, but now Tamrays releasing a trail of sparks in Troska's eyes. They can't see the green to the side, and it looks like Troska's having trouble navigating through that field. It's going to be Fresh Brewed Tea in fourth, Cybernetic Kraken in fifth, and now Blade Knight and Berkjack coming around, bringing up the rear, just happy to be alive. Last time we did this track, we only had one survivor for the entirety of the second lap, but it looks like we're not going to be far from that as we go around this last bend of the first lap. It's Killer App. It's not last bend, is it? No, it's second to last bend of this first lap. Killer App still in first, holding the lead by about 20 marble legs. Tamrays in second, Fresh Brewed Tea in third, and Kraken in fourth as they go through this straightaway. Under the tire we go once again. It's not a tire, it's a loop. It doesn't matter. It's all good. Here comes Bertjack, the commentary on fire. Blade Knight in the back, just happy to be alive, and that could be the strategy here right now, but they've got a big gap to close on Killer App if they want to qualify on this race. Tamrays, Fresh Tea, and Kraken seem to have established some kind of truce to get themselves through this first lap peacefully as they go around. Never mind, Kraken betrays Fresh Tea immediately, and now it's a free-for-all as they go through this last straightaway of the first lap. Tamrays to the outside, or excuse me, inside. Fresh Tea is straight up the middle, and Cybernetic Kraken swerving like a madman, trying to find their way through as best as possible. Blade Knight and Bertjack in the back, bringing up the rear, but Killer App is starting to put on the throttle. Turns out Killer App was holding back the entire time, and now that it's the second lap, they're letting loose. They've opened all the valves. They've turned up the heat, and they are really rocking it down this track. The other marbles have got their work cut out for them. Tammy's in that second place position, holding on the outside line, trying to go through as Cybernetic Kraken and Fresh Brewed Tea make their way into this first bend of this second lap. Need to be careful not to eliminate each other as they go through it. It's too late. Kraken turns on Fresh Brewed Tea again, using, is that a magic wand? They've got I think they turned him into a salamander. No, it's a trident. They turned him into a fish, and the fish just hopelessly flopping on the back of the track, not going nowhere. Some very unfortunate cursing happening there with Kraken, but that is the nature of the Derby, ladies and gentlemen. All things are go. Killer App, who has already qualified, in first place, continuing to lead the charge with that sword and shield. It's Tammy's in second, just trying to find a way to qualify here as they go through as best they can. Kraken in the back, in third, trying to keep Blade Knight and Burtjack at bay, and it looks like it might be a fixing race here. Cybernetic Kraken might be on Tammy's side, trying to get Tammy's a guaranteed finish. They're in the back, just wielding the trident, intimidating the heck out of Burtjack and Blade Knight. Tammy's following Killer App almost as if they're being escorted through the entire track, and this is absolutely tragic, ladies and gentlemen. A horrific display of inner workings of the Derby seed here. The dirty exchanging of monies, the horrific teamsmanship. It's all coming into a head here on this race, ladies and gentlemen. You hate to see it, but it looks like Tammy's has paid off the right people, paid off the mods to keep the other marbles at bay, paid off Killer App, who already qualified, to escort him through the entire track peacefully. And this is it. Tammy's, the money baller, out here taking the victory for themselves and a deep hit to their pockets, but it could all be worth it in the end. Burtjack showing some frustration, takes out Blade Knight just for the heck of it, but it's coming down to the final turn here on the last lap, and it looks like the fix is in. It's Killer App continuing to escort Tammy's. They're actually going to let Tammy's pass on the bend. I don't believe what I'm seeing here, ladies and gentlemen. How much did Tammy's pay these people? Killer App going through, and it gets a bump as they go by. It's going to be Kraken in third, holding Burtjack at bay, and Tammy's coming around the bend here. Killer App is going to just keep Tammy's safe from behind as they go to the final straightaway to cross the line to finish out the race. And what a horrific display of inner workings of the Derby scene here, but that's what happens when money gets involved. Tammy's buying their way into first place. Killer App holds second, Kraken in third, Burtjack back in fourth place. Let's go to the fifth and hope we get a fair race in that one. Here we are on Excite Marble, the sixth qualifier of the night. We got Tammy's, Diablo Beck, TCV, Kraken, Killer App, Burtjack Elson the first, Foreman, Blade Knight, Paradox, Ruska, Katie Doll, Jacliffe Gaming, Spoontree, and Fresh Brewed Tea, all here on Excite Bike, which is a very fast trial of fire for the marbles to qualify in this competition. Here's a bit of a break here. Number 6, all just going through as hard as they can. Jacliffe takes out Katie Doll. Blade Knight takes out Tammy's. The marbles already halfway through the first lap as they go around these bumps. Jacliffe continuing to bounce around, keeping that first place position. Burtjack in second, coming around, overtaking as Jacliffe takes out Burtjack to put him back in their place. Here comes Jacliffe over the top. Blade Knight trying to hold as well. And Jacliffe takes out another. Droska takes out Foreman. The marbles are just killing each other here. Not even worried about the race. It's just an all-out brawl as the marbles continue to push through on this course. Kraken now trying to take the lead. Druska boosting in on that inside edge. Jacliffe still holding strong as the marbles continue to go through the final turn, and it's going to be a sprint to the finish. Peridot, one last boost, but a terrible line. Kraken over the top and in through the edge, and it's going to be the mods taking it this one. Kraken in first, Druska in second, Elson the first and fifth. Absolutely brutal. The mods out there just slaughtering everyone. Let's go into the seventh qualifying race. Here we are on the seventh qualifier of the night, Marble Canyon. We got Fresh Boutique, Katie Doll, Foreman, Peridot, Blade Knight, Killer App, Jacliffe Gaming, Droska, TCV, Tammy's, the first, Spoontree, Cybernetic Kraken, Diablo Beck, and Burtjack. 15 marbles on the start line, ready to go for the gold on this race. The clock ticking down, the marbles prepped and anxious. Here we go. The marbles are off, and right across the line they go in the initial scramble, just trying to find position as they go through. A lot of damage being dealt already between Burtjack and Killer App and Droska. Oh my god, Killer App didn't even get off the starting line before completely being murdered. As the larger marbles, known for doing a lot more damage. There you see normally 25s and 26s. We're seeing 74s and 76s flying out of these larger marbles as they go through the canyon. Already down to 6 out of the original 15. It's Tammy's up at the top, trying to keep themselves alive as they go up the top of the wall and trying to come down with a good boost of speed. Droska in second. No, Droska's running them all over. They want this one for themselves. Spoontree in second, Foreman in third, and Katie Doll in fourth. I don't even know where the fifth marble is. It's Burt Jack all the way in the back, who I believe has already qualified, so they don't even care. It's Droska around the bend, coming down, looking to squash yet another marble, but Spoontree narrowly dodges it, and now they're getting some boost. Droska seems to have mistimed their landing, and now they've lost a lot of speed. They come around back, trying to regain some as they go for another dismount on this final turn of the first lap, and Droska needs to regain some composure if they want to finish out this race. Foreman trying to dodge Droska, dealing some damage back, the two exchanging blows back and forth, throwing bottles at each other out of their vehicles, just trying to stay alive, and Droska will retake first place as they cross the line to the second lap. Foreman takes out Spoontree, just incinerating them to a crisp. Here comes Katie Doll back in third, and Burt Jack just happened to be alive in fourth place, doing it for the fun of it. Foreman and Droska battling for first now, continuing to throw bottles at each other. I don't know how they're drinking Coca-Cola so fast and they have so many bottles to throw at each other, but it seems to be working, and Foreman now in first place, overtaking as they go through these winding bends and long rolling hills. It's Katie Doll in third, with Droska in second, just trying to keep pace right now. Katie going wild on that outside line. Here comes Foreman up the top of the hill. Will Elsa the first will Droska get another? I don't know why my commentary is so off tonight. Will Droska get a good line coming down off the hill? Yes, they do. They regain some speed. They're closing the gap on Foreman. Foreman needs to be careful as Katie Doll pushes up from behind as well. All three marbles in a bit of a tangle here as we go through into the last half of the second lap. Good boost of speed from Foreman. Good line from Droska, and Katie Doll just trying to stay in it. Foreman continuing with that good speed, boosting across the line, takes it for the finish, and it's Foreman in first. Droska, no luck, has to settle for second. Katie Doll in third, and Burt Jack sprinting across the line in third, just happened to be a part of it after already qualifying. Let's get into the eighth qualifier of the evening. This is the eighth qualifier, the bracket, and we've got 15 marbles here on the starting line. Blade Knight, Burt Jack, J-Cliff Gaming, Elsa the First, Katie Doll, Peridot, Spoontree, Freshman D, Diabloback, Cyberdeck Wrecking, Killer App, Foreman, TCV, Tambourines, and Droska. Let's get this race underway. Here we go. The marbles scrambling across the line, trying to keep everything together initially, and now they're going to be moving their way up into the first bend. It's looking good for Fresh Brewed Tea, who's taking an early lead. Diabloback holding second, trying to keep everything together, and Peridot and Spoontree battling for third as they go through the second half of that first turn. Oh, lots of marbles coming through. A huge explosion as three marbles spontaneously combust in a horrific collision on the top of that bend, and that's going to bring our marble count down to 10. It's Fresh Brewed Tea and Diabloback swinging for the fences as they both push through in that first place position. Foreman taking out Spoontree, Diabloback taking out Fresh Brewed Tea, and it looks like all of the previous qualifiers are being eliminated one by one. Peridot now in second with that ever classic green trail plasma shooting out the back of the marble, keeping Killer App at a comfortable distance. Foreman experimenting with that fiery trail, having won the previous qualifier out here, just continuing the tests on their offensive strategies. And it looks like the marbles holding their positions now as they go into the next turn. It looks like it's going to be pretty comfortable for a lot of them. Looks like the marbles really lining up here. It's almost as if they've formed a queue to just finish out this race in an orderly way. But right now, Peridot seems to be mixing it up as they go to the outside edge, trying to go through this last turn of the first lap. Here come the marbles scrambling in. A little bit of damage being dealt between Diabloback and Peridot. Peridot unscathed from the conflict, coming around this last part of the bend across the line into the second lap, and Diabloback is going to have to hold on if they want to take it here. Killer App going through, Droska taking out Tambourines, and Foreman in the back in fourth place, just crossing the line now into the second lap, but Droska not too far behind. Katie Doll and Elsa the First in the back, bringing up the rear, but right now Peridot seems to be in a complete command of this race. Under the tire they go, full health and in first place, looking comfortable as they do it. Diabloback on the brink of death, just trying to hold a position and maybe make a move at the last second, but Killer App is in third now, coming through with that sword and shield. Here comes Foreman and Droska from behind in fourth and fifth place. Katie Doll and Elsa keeping their pace, maybe saving it for another race as the blobfish ever watches. There's something about that. Anyway, Peridot will be coming across us turn in first place, continue to extend their lead to about 30 marble lengths. Diabloback holding second with Killer App in third. Diabloback needs to be careful. One little bump and it could all be over. Foreman in fourth, Droska in fifth. Continuing on this queue line, it doesn't look like a lot of changing of places are happening on this one. Maybe the marbles reaching a truce, wanting to save their repair bills just for a little bit. And they're coming around this second to last bend now. Big bounce off Diabloback. Coming up, closing the gap on Peridot to about 20 marble lengths. But they've got to keep the speed up if they want to make a move here on the final stretch. Foreman and Droska getting a little bit more speed as they go through into the final turn. Killer App in third, just trapping to keep their pace as they go through. Foreman takes out Droska. Another rough break for Droska. Peridot into the final bend. It's looking good for them as Peridot continues to go through the green trail. Ever reliable, continuing to just boost their marble continuously forward. Diablobec tries to sprint, but it's too little, too late. Gonna cross the line. It's Peridot in first place. Diablobec in second. Killer App in third. And a new track record. Happy new season. Snag them while you can. Let's get into the 9th qualifier. Here we are on Lapsland for the 9th qualifier of the night. We got Blade Knight, Killer App, TCV, Fresh Brute Tea, Birchjack, Diablobec, the first, Druska, Tamariz, Spoontree, J-Cliff Gaming, Cyber Elite, Foreman, Peridot, and Kate did it all. Lots of try-hard marbles here. Would love to see it on the Derby scene. Let's see if the competition continues to be heated. And the initial scramble begins. The marbles across the line looking for that first place position out of the gate. And it looks like it's going to be an interesting line for this one. Lapsland, the long octagon with the trees and the bumps. You got to be careful with your marble or you could end up right in the middle of a tree trunk, just like TCV did right there. You hate to see it. The marbles now pushing forward. Tamariz seems to have found a good boost of speed, even though they've already qualified. They want to make sure they're ready for the final race. Spoontree takes out Druska, and there's a big clump of marbles at the top of the peloton fighting for second, already taking out 2 more marbles, and now they're down to just 1. Diablobec, the last one standing. J-Cliff in second. Tamariz in third. Oh my, Tamariz, what is happening here? Tamariz has really opened the throttle. Looks like, oh, never mind. They got a horrific bounce at the bottom of that hill, and they completely stopped dead. Then they crash into a boulder. What is happening? Tamariz a little too fast for their own good. They were experimenting with the parameters of their dimensional manipulation trail, and it seems to have gotten them a little faster than they expected. They've lost all control, smashing into everything, and now just using brute speed alone to keep themselves in first place. Even though they've already qualified, they better figure it out now when it doesn't matter, so that when the final race comes, they'll be ready. TCV in second, Diablobec in third, and J-Cliff Gaming in fourth. Just trying to get across these humps and hills as best as possible, and could this be the one? TCV, having recovered from hitting that tree, is now in second place in the qualifying position, and TCV could make it all happen right here. It's Diablobec in third, Peridot in fourth. Is TCV going to see the lorry here as they go around on these tight bends? No, Diablobec overtakes going through the corner. TCV needs an answer. They got to do something. They're stuck on the outside edge. They got to watch out for the tree. Diablobec hits a boulder. TCV retakes second place, and it could all be this. Tamariz out by about 80 marble legs. TCV, huge boost of speed. Look, they've closed the gap on Tamariz. What is TCV doing? They're going for the complete glory here as they go into the final turn of this lap, and it's looking pretty good for TCV. Diablobec back in third, barely alive. The other marbles not even close, and Tamariz continuing to just play with the tinkering and parameters of their vehicle is absolutely crushing it, and they will cross in first place. TCV will hold second for the qualifying position. Diablobec settles for third. J-Cliff in fourth. The rest of the marbles going through. Absolutely exciting stuff happening on that race. We'll be glad to see how that all unfolds when we hit the finals in just a minute. Here we are on the circuit. Our 10th qualifier of the night. TCV, Foreman, Birchjack, Peridot, J-Cliff Gaming, Druska, Tamariz, Killer App, Elsa the first, Diablobec, Fresh Brute Tea, Cyber Elite, Katie Dog Kraken, Blade Knight, and Spoontree here to go for those last 3 remaining spots in the final race. The marbles are off, ready to go. Peridot, Druska, TCV, Foreman, and Birchjack, all names we've heard plenty of times tonight. Looking to get through that first bend and through this race as quickly as possible. Lots of marbles dealing damage. 5 of them squeezed up, all in that third place position. And the damage is flying. Fresh Brute takes out J-Cliff. The rest of the marbles pushing through now into the next turn. It looks like we're going to have some more eliminations as all the marbles collide. There we go. Fresh Brute takes out Killer App. Elsa the first takes out Fresh Brute. It's 1 for 1 after the other. But TCV and Peridot are giving chase up in front. The last 2 qualifiers of the previous 2 races. And Peridot just smashes TCV into the outside line. And more marbles fall. Cyber Elite out of here. Kraken trying to push through in second. Blade Knight in third. Druska in fourth. Never mind. Blade Knight takes out Kraken. Tamariz takes out Druska's. We're down to 5, and that's all you see on the screen. Spoontree in the back at full health, trying to dodge all the damage and wait for a moment to strike on the second lap, and that's a good decision if you ask me, but they're going to need to put on some major speed to pull it off. Elsa the first boosts up into the third place position. Tamariz holds fourth for now. Blade Knight in fifth as they continue to push through on this straightaway, and Peridot is in the lead, but has already qualified, meaning Blade Knight is currently in the qualifying position. Around the bend we go into the next straightaway. Looking good for all 5 marbles right now if they could just stay alive, except for Tamariz, who's continuing to fiddle with those parameters on their dimensional trail, and they better figure it out quick because the last race is coming up soon. Peridot through the bend. Never mind. Tamarace just spontaneously explodes at the moment of collision with Elsa the First. They're going to need to keep working on that tinkering if they want to finish out the final race. Blade Knight in second. Now coming up from behind. Peridot seems to be slowing down the green reliable track. Oh, Blade Knight. I think there's something on the track there. Yeah, it looks like there's the melted remains of an experimental behemoth. Some kind of a homunculus-like creature seems to have melted on the track and is just slowing down all the marbles that roll across that spot. So do be careful now as the marbles cross into the second lap. It's going to be Peridot in first still, holding about a 30 marble length lead on Blade Knight. Blade Knight, no, not done yet, with Elsa the First and Spoontree giving chase in third and fourth place respectively. Here's Peridot around the straightaway into the next bend, looking pretty good right now, but again already qualified, meaning Blade Knight is in that qualifying position. Elsa the First in third and Spoontree overtakes now in fourth, both coming through, and a little bit more damage looking to be dealt if they are not careful. 4 marbles remain on the second lap as we go through the circuit. Now into the outside bend. It looks like it's Peridot increasing their lead and holding about a 40 marble length lead right now, but Blade Knight's not done yet. They're going to start flapping their wings a little harder and might be making a move here to try to get a first place finish before it's all over. More damage dealt between Elsa and Spoontree, having a little bit of a fight in the back, just trying to keep themselves toughened up. Peridot losing all of their lead now. Blade Knight hot at their heels, trying to get through, but gets a mouthful of that purple plasma trail, and they're going to have to try to find a better line to get around them. Blade Knight is in the lead, or in the second place position, trying to take the lead. Elsa the First back in third, keeping Spoontree in their position right now, as Spoontree was trying to make a comeback in the last stretch here. We'll see if they make a move or if they just wait it out for the next one, as the 2 marbles up front continue to go through. Blade Knight just continuing to eat nothing but nothing but green plasma, as it just floods off the Peridot's marble, and they're just taking it like a champ right now. Blade Knight flapping through it, their mouth open, swallowing it almost as if they enjoy it, but it seems they seem to have lost their breath. They start to slag down just a little bit. Peridot cuts in, Blade Knight ups up the middle. Both marbles going to try to make a move as we go into the final stretch here. It's all for glory right now as the marbles go through. Oh, Peridot gets a big blast of energy back into Blade Knight's open mouth, and that's going to take him almost down to completely no health, and Peridot will hold first place, but it doesn't matter. Blade Knight is the qualifying marble. Elsa the First in third, and Spoontree just happened to be alive, finishes in fourth. Let's get into the next race. Ladies and gentlemen, our second to last qualifying race, it's Peridot, Jacob, Gay, First TV, Scorwa, Droska, Blade Knight, Cyber Elite, Tamarace, Cyber Kraken, Foreman, Killer App, Spoontree, Elsa the First, and hopefully I didn't miss anyone. Really good stuff happening on the coverage here today. Elsa the First, initially in the lead, 3 marbles, just 4 marbles, or just the marbles, 5 marbles, they are exploding all over the place. I think there's just some depth charges being dropped out of the track randomly, just taking marbles out left and right as the damage continues to fly. 2 more down, and it's already down to 10, ladies and gentlemen. Down to 9. I can't even count how fast the marbles are dropping, but Elsa the First is in the lead, trying to keep everything under control. Droska now trying they're trying the electric car of Fresh Brewed Tea. I wonder if that's on loan, and we'll see if they have the mastery of it that Fresh Brewed Tea also has. Spoontree in third as they go around this next bend. Cyber Elite holding fourth, and more marbles continuing to die, but now they're starting to straight out into a single file line to try to keep the damage at a minimum. Fresh Brewed Tea has been eliminated, and it's all going to be on Droska right now to see if they can make a victory out of this race. Elsa the First coming around the bend. The mods holding the lead right now. Spoontree in third, once again just happy to be alive, as Cyber Hunter Elite, who has already qualified, is there with Kraken, Birchjack, and Foreman. No, Elson turns on Droska just as they cross the line. Not sure if this was part of the plan, but Droska's out once again, and Elsa the First has all the pressure of the mods on their shoulders if they want to make this happen. Spoontree in second as they come around the bend. Cyber Hunter Elite and Cybernetic Kraken, the 2 Cybers battling for third, trying to go through, and the Tridents are all over. They must have been giving out Tridents at a concession stand before the race because everyone seems to have one. And now we go into the second lap looking pretty strong. Foreman in the back, in fifth, just keeping it all together. Cyber Hunter Elite takes out Cybernetic Kraken. Then all the Tridents just like that have disappeared. Elsa the First still in the lead, though. Spoontree in second with no answer, and it looks like it's going to be a nice and steady race to the finish now that all the marbles have been eliminated other than these 4. Spoontree in second, using that cowboy hat. Not sure if that has any aerodynamic qualities to it, but it seems to be looking pretty cool as they just cruise down this track without any care in the world. Cyber Hunter Elite already qualified in third. Foreman already qualified in fourth, and so Elsa the First looking to just put this one away here. Is Spoontree going to try to make a move before the final stretch? This could be the moment. Yes, Spoontree's going to go for it. They've got a little bit of a boost of speed, but it's not going to be enough to close the gap. But Elson, who's keeping it steady as well, and all 4 marbles just happy to roll across the line, almost as if they're square dancing straight through the line and into the qualifying finish. Elsa the First takes it, and they will advance to the finals. Here we are on the final qualifying race on the best map of the qualifiers, the Saber. We got Tammy's, TCV, Scoreboard, Droska, Cyberdeck, Kraken, Fresh Fruit T, Foreman, Peridot, Killer App, Tukio, Burt, Jack, Jacob, giving us the first Cyber Elite, and Katie did it all. Ready to try to get that last spot in the finals. Here we go. The marbles scramble across the line. Tamries seems to have given up on the experimental geometric trail. What is that? What are they? Is it chicken eggs? What are they? It's an acorn. It's an acorn and a squirrel trail. Not sure what Tamries is going for here, but hey. Best of luck to them. Anyway, commentary is a thing we do. It's Katie did it all in first place, looking to qualify here on the final lap. 3 marbles already eliminated as the marbles go around this very tight corner, number 2. And it's looking pretty good for Tamries and Tukio as they try to keep position on this race. Katie did it all to the outside, Tamries to the inside. Big blow there from Katie did it all to Tamries. Tamries going to have to shake that one off as they try to regroup themselves and get themselves back into position. Tukio holding third for now, but Tamries going to regroup and get a good boost of speed into the next sharp corner. Here comes Tukio and Jake Cliff Gaming from behind in 4th and 5th place. Killer App going through in 6th, TCV in 7th, and Peridot in 8th. All the marbles now going through, but Katie Doll's got a good boost of speed as they go into the final tight corner of the first lap. Here comes Tamries, going to get a good dismount off of that bend, and looks like they're going to go for an inside line as they go through this last corner of the first lap. Here comes Killer App, Cybernetic Kraken, Cyber Hunter Elite, Killer App and Tukio, all battling through lots of changing positions. A bit of a scramble in this first lap as the marbles are all tied up in that second place position, but Katie did it all is out in front with a very comfortable lead, and they continue to express it as they go across this straightaway into the second lap. They've got an 80 marble length lead. They go around the bend beautifully. Look at that line, just straight up and straight back, not wasting any time, and they are going to continue to push that advantage as hard as they possibly can. Kraken, Tamries, Killer App, all bumping it. Cyber Hunter Elite. I'm going to do that so many freaking times. All bumping heads as they go around that first tight bend. Into the second bend we go. Katie Doll continues to hold a very strong lead, but now the marbles are starting to close the gap. Tukio, TCV in the back, just happy to be there. Peridot also getting in on the action as Cyber Hunter Elite and Tamries move through this next bend, trying to find a way to close the gap on Katie Doll, but Katie Doll continues to have pretty good lines through these corners. Ooh, Tamries hits that inside edge, really solid out there as they fall back into 5th place, and Katie did it all now regains some lead, now up to about 80 marble lengths as they go through the second to last tight turn, and they continue with these beautiful straight out and straight back changes of direction. Cyber Hunter Elite in 2nd, Killer App in 3rd, Tukio 4th, TCV and Peridot bringing up the rear. 6 marbles remaining as they go into the last tight corner. It could all be catered at all for this race. They started out strong and they definitely continued to improve as the race has progressed. And Cyber Hunter Elite is really going around the bend on the outside line. Killer App in 3rd, Tukio in 4th. Never mind, Killer App takes out Cyber Hunter Elite, but Katie did it all still continues to be ahead by a very, very big distance, and it is going to be Katie did it all the way, ladies and gentlemen, really living up to their name on this one. Katie did it all, soundly taking that last spot of the final qualifier. Killer App in 2nd, Tukio in 3rd, TCV and Peridot finally crossing the line, and a 3rd record of the night. Happy new season. It's time for the finals. Ladies and gentlemen, here we are. It's the finals of the Shenanigans Marble Derby Classic number 39, unfortunately. Foreman fell into a wormhole on here that was opened up by the experimentation of Tamries' geometric trail. So they have not been able to be located in time for the race to start, so we will be starting without them, unfortunately. Better luck next time. We're assuming it was nothing maliciously done intentionally, but if it was, there's nothing we can do about it, because Derby rules. Is what it is. We have Blade Knight, Burt Jack, Tamries, Fresh Poutine, TCV, Killer App, Katie Doll, Cyber Hunter Elite, Cybernetic Kraken, Peridot, and Elsa the First are 11 finalists for this race. Let's get it underway. 12 laps to go. First one to finish wins it all. Here we go. 10 seconds ticking down. The marbles ready to make it happen. Will they be able to survive the gauntlet that is Work in Progress, a.k.a. the Figure 8 Finals? Here we go. The marbles going through. Peridot immediately slams into the wall. Blade Knight, not a good start. You hate to see it. And that's going to be a rough one to recover from as the marbles go through on these bends. Elsa the First continuing to take the charge here as they go through. Katie Doll takes out Bertjack. A very short-lived run for Bertjack here on the final scene. Elsa the First, though, is in the lead. Tamarys and Katie Doll dealing damage. Looks like Tamarys has completely foregone the experimental dimensional trail, and that could be to their advantage as they were having a lot of trouble with it in the final races. Looks like Katie Doll has been removed by Fresh Booty. Fresh Booty, the electric car with the batteries, throwing them all around. We've seen how well they can navigate this vehicle, and it looks like they're going to continue to push things as hard as they can in this race. Fresh Booty, who won the last Derby, is out here in the top 3 trying to win it again. Little damage exchange between the two, as Elsa the First is just happy to be going through these corners as quickly as possible. Tamarys now in second, Fresh Booty back at third, Killer App and Peridot holding 4th and 5th, and it looks like way back in 6th and 7th place we got Kraken and Blade Knight. So the Krakens, or the Cybers are not going to be battling it out for the first place finish here as we had hoped, but that is okay. Still plenty of excitement out on the track. Blade Knight takes out Tamarys. Looks like Tamarys just can't catch a break no matter what they do tonight, and Elsa the First slams into the intersection, and that's going to cause them to go from 2nd to 4th, and now Fresh Booty's all alone in 1st place, and is Fresh Booty gonna do it all over again? The electric car throwing the batteries out the back. It's a tried and true strategy that just can't be topped, it seems, but Killer App's not done yet. Runs straight through Peridot like they weren't even there. They're closing the gap on Fresh Booty, and it looks like Killer App wants to put a stop to this madness right here and now. We're on our 5th lap of 12. The marbles continuing to push through as best they can. Fresh Booty throws out another battery, gets a little boost of speed. Killer App dodges it and continues to try to hold, but Fresh Booty just rocketing down the track. How do they do it? We do not know. It's Kraken through the bend in 4th and Elsa the First in 4th. And those are the only 4 remaining marbles out on this track, so it's all going to come to this. What's this? Killer App. Oh no, Fresh Booty! They got stuck. The battery wouldn't unplug successfully, and Elsa just ices them right across the front. What a horrific change of events, ladies and gentlemen. Fresh Booty bobbled their battery switch. They lost control, crashed into the wall, and Elsa the First, seeing the opportunity, just runs them over, slicing them in half. And that is going to be it for Fresh Booty. Just a pancake on the track. And Killer App takes out Cybernetic Kraken. The mods are down to just 1. It's Killer App versus Elsa the First. The mods versus the plebs. Who is going to be the one to take it all here, ladies and gentlemen? 5 laps left to go and only 2 marbles. We've not seen a race like this in the finals to date. Here we go. Killer App around the bend looking to get into lap number 8. Elsa the First, though, is not giving up, and they've got a good boost of speed to keep themselves in the competition for now. Killer App through into the 8th lap, holding 1st place by about 30 marble lengths, but Elsa the First is hot at their heels. Going through the turns, looking pretty good with these lines, and Killer App's going to continue to push through as they come up into the next intersection. Elsa the First holding that position, but losing a lot of speed as they go through that straightaway. Elsa the First tries to find a better line around the bend. Killer App going through, but Elsa can't quite close the gap just yet. They might be waiting for the final lap to make their move. Killer App bouncing off the wall. Elsa the First straight through, and that's going to do it. It looks like Elsa the First was waiting for a mistake, and Killer App has just made one. Now the marbles close in. It's neck and neck, and it could be just a fight to the finish to finish this out, ladies and gentlemen. The closest finals we've ever had since we started doing the final figure 8 track, and this is definitely going to be a one for the Bucks. Here comes Killer App to the inside, to the outside. Elsa the First overtaking with the damage being dealt to Killer App. Killer App very worse for wear now. As we go into the final 2 laps, Elsa the First has taken it. Killer App needs to recover from that bashing. Here they go for the straight shot over up into 1st place, but Elsa the First is not letting up. Both marbles neck and neck as they go through these turns, continuing to switch places on this final stretch, and it's going to be down to the last 2 laps to make everything decided here. Elsa the First crosses the line first into the 11th, but Killer App's got a good boost of speed with a straightaway around the bend. Killer App now in 1st place, holding it as best they can with just 1.5 laps to go. Elsa the First changes places once again. Good boost, good line, overtakes, but loses their speed, and they're going to crash into the outside wall. Killer App retakes, but they've moved to the inside, converting it forward, and once again the marbles are back at it. Killer App in the outside now in 1st place, going up. Elsa losing a lot of speed and control in the final lap. What just happened? Killer App going straight through. Elsa the First careening out. Oh no, Elsa's completely fallen to pieces. What's happening? The lead now increases to about 90 marble lengths. Elsa the First was trying to make something happen on the last lap, but they've completely fallen apart. They lost focus. They mistimed whatever they were trying to do, and it's all gone to pieces. Elsa the First not even close in the final lap. Absolutely throws it away. Killer App will be the victor here for the 39th Shenanigans Marble Derby Classic. Congratulations, Killer App, on your victory. And we'll see you all next week for the next Shenanigans Marble Derby Classic.